So I'll lead us off here. So welcome everyone to How to Be a Smart Real Estate Buyer, COVID-19 update. So we have done this presentation multiple times in the past. What's different though is that we're going to be talking about COVID and its impact on the housing market, on mortgages, on being a buyer, both positive and negative. So I think you're going to find this quite educational. So just to kind of tell you about our agenda for today. Well, we're going to first start off with market trends. So what's happening in today's market and where is it heading? And again, some of those implications of COVID-19. Then I'm going to transition to Carmelo. He's our mortgage specialist today. He's going to be discussing the impact of COVID-19 and on mortgages. And then right after Carmelo's complete there, we're going to be discussing more about the process of buying a home. So again, not only the process, but also top buying mistakes and how you can avoid them. And what's cool is we're going to show you a tool of how you can search for properties. So we're going to do some real life examples of how we search for properties and how you can take advantage of searching as well. And lastly, just some concluding information and next steps on how you can take action. So a little bit about me. My name is Tom Powiewski. And just tell you a little bit about myself. I was born to a Polish immigrant family. We immigrated from Poland back in the early 80s. And I'm a graduate of Wilfrid Laurier University. So in 2005, I got my degree in accounting. And I was actually a practicing accountant up until 2011. And my true passion, though, was actually in real estate. And I first started investing and doing long-term buy and holds, and as well flipping properties for at least a number of years. And sure enough, I bit the real estate bug and became a full-time realtor ever since 2011. And I've helped over 900 people transact in real estate, whether it's for themselves or for investment. So definitely a lot of experience. I've seen it all. And last but not least, my passions include the Toronto Blue Jays and my two boys there, Nick and Alex. So we're going to lead us off with market trends and where the market is heading. So our discussion really starts 3 years ago in 2017. This chart here depicts the average price for a home on the Toronto Real Estate Board, okay? And our story again starts in 2017 at the beginning of January and February and March, where we saw prices go up 30% in a matter of a few months. And this market was on steroids. If you were a buyer, you would have to compete against 10, 20, maybe even more offers. You had to basically pay a lot more than you're willing to, and it was really competitive. It got so crazy that the government in April of that year, of 17, so over 3 years ago, stepped in and announced something called the Fair Housing Plan. When that was announced, that essentially, they had, for example, a foreign buyer tax, but when that was announced, the market changed. It went down just as fast as it went up. Since about that time frame, so since about the summer of 2017, we've seen gradual price increase, the way it's supposed to be, okay, in real estate. Then you'll see this green circle here off to the right. That is the beginning of 2020. The reason that was circles because we started to see the same thing that we saw in 2017. Multiple offers on one property, record prices, shortage of inventory, a lot of competition, and we were expecting to see the same thing happen as it did in 17. That was up until March. And COVID-19 came into effect, social distancing came into effect about mid-March, March 15th. But up until then, as I mentioned, we had this market that was just very competitive and crazy. You'll see to the right here, this is actually a home that we actually sold on March 13th in Mississauga. And if you read the tagline, it says here, not even coronavirus could stop 27 buyers from bidding on this home. Needless to say, the sellers were really happy. Shortly after, the social and physical distancing policies came into effect, non-essential services stopped, and we saw that the market took a pause and halted, okay? Much similar to what you see in December around the holiday season. Interesting enough, so 2.5 months have taken place, and here are some current stats. So this is May 2020 and compares to May of 2019. So what are you gonna see here? So you'll see here on the side, this chart here with my cursor, the first stat is sales. So that is the number of buyers that are active in the market transacting. So last year in May, 9,950 versus May of 2020, 4,600, a drop of 53%. Now, some of you are going to say, wow, that is a huge drop, and it is. However, keep in mind that this is during the whole physical social distancing, non-essential services being stopped. We still had 4,600 people that were supposed to be staying home but decided to buy real estate instead. That's pretty remarkable. Active listings, you'll see here, fell from 20,000 to about 11,500. What does that mean? That's the supply of inventory out there. That dropped by 42%. So Economics 101 tells us that when we have demand fell, but supply also fell. So it kind of counterbalanced each other. And we've seen prices about 3% increase from last year. That is not too bad, okay? Now, ultimately, they are down from March. You'll see here at the bottom that the mid-March price was about 902,000, and our price currently, the average price was 863. So they're off by around 4% or so, but still 3% up from last year, okay? Now, what you don't see here is, I can tell you from firsthand experience that ever since about mid-May, we have seen that the market has rebounded. We've seen an influx of buyers that have been calling us that wanted to buy. We've seen sellers enter the market. It has been very, very busy for us. And I think that the reason being is people have got used to this new normal, which has been thrown a lot, but the truth is people are getting more used to what's out there. Secondly, you've got nice weather, and there's also a host of other factors, which I'm going to discuss shortly. So the big question I typically get is, will the market crash? And our personal opinion is that it will not. And I know as realtors, that's something we should say, but fundamentally, we do believe that the market will not crash. And in fact, I can tell you from firsthand experience that I'm actually looking for a home for myself. So some of the reasons why, the mitigating factors. So you've got the government stimulus package that they've announced there to help people who need it, government support in EI. One of the big reasons why the market will not crash is once they open up the borders, we will have continued immigration. There are over 350,000 immigrants coming to this country. About 1/3 of those, or 100,000, are coming right to the GTA. They need a place to live. This will eventually resume. Now, other reasons why. Interest rates are at historic lows. You can pick up, actually, Carmelo will probably discuss this, but the interest rates are at historic lows, well below 3%, cheap credit out there, and that is definitely fueling this market. And as well, deferral mortgage payments for people that need it, easier access to credit. And the last but not least, the one thing to make mention is a lot of people get a little worried about the situation that's out there, but we have gone through similar times like this in the past. And you can see some of the ones listed here, such as the 2008 financial crisis, the 90s recession, World War II, and we've always recovered. So in the long run, I personally believe that real estate is long-term. If you're trying to speculate over the next year, that is obviously questionable. But in the long run, I do believe anyone that buys a home today it will be worth 5 years more from now.